Hello and welcome back to day 2 of the first annual virtual summit on branding and marketing organized by ASSOCHAM under the theme Digitization of Marketing and Sustainability in Marketing. I'm Anisha Nair, your host for the day today. Now, a day earlier, we heard from senior executives from the retail, FMCG, and advertising industry on the direction and strategy marketers will have to take in this new VUCA world to engage, sell, and retain their customers in the digital world. Now, we've had a series of insightful presentations and discussions on how AI, data analytics, and new frontiers like neuroscience are helping marketers understand their customers better, predict their purchase decisions, and customize their offerings to take the customer experience to a sky-high level. Today, we will turn our focus on how brands will be built in the digital age and what stories will resonate with the audience. After the global pandemic, sustainability and health seem to have become very important factors for consumers. So is selling a sustainable product in the post-pandemic world a piece of cake? Are customers willing to pay a premium to buy a sustainable product? How do brands authentically meet the conscious consumers' demands? These are some of the issues that we will be talking about during the day today. To talk more about the theme of day 2 of the summit, I would now like to invite Mr. Thomas Verghese, Chairman, National Council on Branding and Marketing, ASSOCHAM, and Business Head, Textiles, Aditya Birla Group, to please address the audience and tell us what's lined up today.
Thank you, Anisha, and good afternoon to all my colleagues on the call and all the delegates who have registered for this program today. We had an absolutely brilliant session yesterday on digitization, a panel discussion, and of course, ended up with the most brilliant presentation I've seen in many decades by Dr. Pradeep on the sonic brands and of course, the effect of neurosciences. Today, we move on to the second theme of the conference, which is sustainability. And I think sustainability, has become a very important buzzword. But for some of us, it has been with us for a very long time now. We at ABG Textiles started our journey almost 8 years ago. And it has taken us 8 years with a gradual journey of trying to fix everything to become a far more sustainable enterprise. Why is sustainability important, and why is it that ASSOCHAM is focusing on sustainability? I think the pandemic has sort of sharply accentuated people's preference and choices. It has shown how fragile the world is. And of course, the VUCA world, which we've been experiencing for many years now, but which got really live in people's life in terms of the COVID pandemic, has shown how fragile the overall economic system is and how it is important that we must, each one of us, worry about not just about our companies and their bottom lines, but also worry about the impact we have on the environment, the impact we have on our employees and the communities around us. So I think sustainability is now no longer just a buzzword. It is something which is very essential. It is key to business survival. As we look at the younger and younger consumers and audiences today, particularly the millennials, they put a lot of store by sustainable companies, sustainable products, sustainable processes. And they're willing to support such companies and such processes and such brands in the years to come. So I think today the theme of everything, whether the keynote address by Prabodh and by Sandeep, and then followed by a very illuminative panel discussion anchored by my colleague Ajit Ranade, a very fine economist, is going to be really a step in that direction. To me, many years ago when my chief sustainability officer, let's say 8-9 years ago, talked about carbon tax, it looks like something which India would never see. But as posterity, as we look back now and we see how the Indian environment is shaped up, we have seen how quickly we moved into carbon taxes in some form or the other. And believe me, this will be equally true in the years to come on water, and it will be equally true in terms of managing of hazardous waste and managing of waste in general. So while we may look at sustainability in terms of the greenhouse gases and the footprint that we put in terms of our sustainable footprint in terms of both air, water, and waste, there is far more that goes into sustainability. Design of products, design of new packaging will all have to keep sustainability as a key message, because recycling and the concept of circularity is here to stay. In fact, people may ask, why would I pay a premium on a product which is made out of recycled garments? But today the consumer is willing to pay you a premium for doing the right things, which is reducing the waste and utilizing the waste as it is, and in fact, even willing to pay a premium. So you see H&M has actually set up some of these centers in some of their larger stores across the world to show people how, when you bring in a used garment, how they can convert it and give it to you in the form of a new garment. So I think sustainability is here to stay. I think it is a very, very important theme for us to pick up for this Congress. And I'm like yesterday, which was absolutely brilliant. I'm hoping that we will have surely a repeat of yesterday through the keynote addresses, the panel discussions, and the closing session. So I wish all the delegates a wonderful day of active learning and listening, and of course, asking your questions to the to the speakers and to the panelists who are in front of you. So thank you all very much for registering and being there on this program today with ASSOCHAM. I now hand over to Anisha. Please go ahead with the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Varghese, for introducing today's summit for everybody participating. And Mr. Varghese did mention about questions. If you have your questions, do type it into the chat box or the Q&A box when it comes to your mind. We will be taking up your questions towards the end of the session, but don't wait till the end of the session to type in your questions, because when we have them ready, we waste less time in waiting for the questions to come in. Now, to start, I would like to request Mr. Prabodh Acharya, Chief Sustainability Officer, JSW Group, to please give a keynote address on marketing of sustainable products. A quick introduction: Mr. Acharya partners with CEOs, senior executives, and operations head to develop and drive sustainability strategy for JSW Group companies of steel, energy, cement, paints, infrastructure, and more. An MTech in environmental engineering, he has worked for nearly 3 decades in the field of corporate environmental management, emissions reduction, climate change, corporate strategy and sustainability, and policy development and assurance services. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Prabodh Acharya.
Thank you, Anisha. Thank you very much for this introduction, which is very generous introductions. And after listening to Mr. Varghese, I know he's one of the early adopter of sustainability as a CEO, because I have got the opportunity to work with him for some time in my Aditya Birla days. So I'm really pleased that now more and more CEOs are talking about sustainability and integrating that into the business practices. So as a sustainability professional, that's a good for all of us. But let me, make a presentation instead of a keynote address. I thought to make a presentation. I just want to see my screen is visible, Anisha?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen, full screen. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. This is a difficult topic I have been asked to ask on marketing of sustainable products. So I am not a marketing expert, neither a branding expert. I'm a sustainability professionals. So therefore, let me give some examples of how the sustainability can be marketed and support in the business decisions. Just quickly, before I come to the subject, I thought while many of you, you are aware about JSW Group, I would like to highlight few points here. that we are part of US 13 billion JSW group, which is ranked among India's top business houses. And JSW's innovative and sustainable products, services, and ideas cater to the core sectors of steel, energy, cement, paints, and infrastructure, apart from our interest in philanthropy, sports, reality, and ventures. So with our vision of bringing positive transformation to every life we touch, the core value of confidence, compassion, courage, collaboration, and commitment are interwoven into the fabric of the group and is reflected in every initiative of the group that takes. So with that, let me show you this slide and put some context on the sustainability products. I'm sure many of you would have seen all these marks in nowadays. And possibly some of these symbols, marks, logos, you might be getting associated with any of your products that you are dealing recently. Look, business sustainability, as I told, has it has come a very long way. If you look at from the dawn of modern environmental movement and the establishment of environmental regulation in 1970s, it has become a very strategic concern driven by market forces now. So today, more than 90% of CEOs state that sustainability is important to their company's success. And we had the World Economic Forum meeting is going on, and there are reports coming on the business risk assessments. You would have looked at how the environmental and sustainability issues are being ranked at the top. So one way companies contribute towards sustainability is by offering environmental and social friendly or sustainable product. And then products have evolved from green products, which are defined as products that minimize the environmental impact of their consumption, to sustainable products wherein the organization has embraced and embedded sustainability into the strategy, rather than product being green in some matrix. Now, if I have to define what a sustainability product is, and sustainable products are those products that provide environmental, social, and economic benefits while protecting public health and environmental over their whole life cycle, from the extraction of raw material until the final disposals. And that is where different branding, different schemes, different aspects are coming into modern day when sustainability is being branded and products are being sold in the market. Now, the big question is that if we brand a product that become a sustainable product, or something else need to be done by the organization to demonstrate the core values. And that is where I sincerely believe that it is not the product what we see at the end, but what goes to develop a strategy for the business with framework and areas to focus remain the key pillar or the foundations to demonstrate that you are building a sustainability brand and selling sustainability products. So developing sustainable product is a strategic and should be embedded to the organization's business strategy. Otherwise, it will be termed as a greenwashing and people can easily make it out. And that is where this is slide I showed the example how JSW is building sustainability as a business strategy, and that is getting reflected the product and services that we are providing the market. Now, how the organization can adopt a sustainable product and do a marketing. If I give example, we at JSW focus on product and process development using tools and the focus on educating the customers. So the important aspects will be life cycle assessment, where you evaluate the potential environmental impacts throughout the entire life cycle of a product during production, distribution, use, and end of life services. Then use environment product declarations based on life cycle assessment study. That is a methodology to assess the environmental impact associated with the product or service and provides a holistic approach by considering the potential impacts of all stages of manufacturing, product use, and end of life targets. EPT combined with the life cycle analysis and life cycle assessment approach with a level playing field provide the product category rules, which is called PCR rules. And that results in a reliable resource for the customers to have a better clarity on which product to opt for and what is good and what is bad. Like what you see nowadays, the products come with the labeling of their different elements which goes into. So it is essential that now more and more products should declare what is their environmental footprint at the end, and that will distinguish between one product from another, and consumer will have a choice to choose which product is good or bad. Now let me give an example from JSW Steel. You know, steel is being a very commonly used material. One of the material which touch everybody's life when we build a house, and that is the TMT bar. So let me share this example, one of our sustainability product, what we are promoting by FE550D grade. And the last year we launched this type of TMT bars used extensively in the construction sector. Through our product development approach improvement plan, we worked on the following, reducing the environmental footprint using a LCA assessment, enhancing product quality, material saving, and cost saving over the client. After successful production of this new grade, it was important for us to take this to the market and make the user aware about it. So we applied levers such as webinars, market conference, mobile vans, product certification processes to make this grade popular. Now, this is the typical process flow. To develop a metallurgical model to predict the microstructure and the mechanical properties of the product. And this was done through identification of narrow process window and achieving through a digital process control. And that is where the innovation happened. Now, the high yield quenched and self-tempered technology that produces very high yield strength by a combination of fine grain size and self-tempered surface zone. The modification and standardization of process controls of the quenching, self-tempering, and atmospheric cooling resulted to a final structure consisting of combination of strong outer layer that is tempered with a ductile core, giving the product its unique combination of high strength and ductility. And then what we did, we evaluated and compared the LCA results, and the outcome that we see here. There is a decrease in global warming potential to the tune of 0.38% for the new product in comparison to the baseline product, which is normally used in the market. So similarly, the blue water consumption was decreased by 2.25% for the new product. And the results are shown in this slides. And we have evaluated and compared the LCA results at BRM operations, and there is a clear reduction on the impact parameters, as you can see from this slide. Scaling the impact of these reductions to the projected TMT demand in the next 5 years, then this new product has a potential to reduce around 36 million tons of CO2 and 37 million meter cube of water in the long term. So we evaluated and compared the quality parameters against the base grade and Indian specification, and these results are self-explanatory, what you see in the slides. So what does this mean to the customer or the users? Well, we would want to highlight the fact that the JSW is offering this grade as a base grade for replacement of Indian demand for lower grade, that is FE415 and FE500D, to promote sustainable steel at no extra cost to the customer. So uses of this grade has resulted in a reduction of steel consumption of about 15%, So scaling the impact of these reductions to the projected TMT demand in the next 5 years, this new product has the potential to save steel about 14 million ton and a monetary benefit of around 11 million US dollar, and that is quite substantial. The next part is how do we outreach? This is after the product is developed, after you have developed a sustainable product. Now, how do you go and market it? Let me again tell you, I'm not a marketing expert, but after successful production of this new grade, it was important for us to take this to the market and make the user aware about it. So we applied, as I stated, several levers like webinar, market conference, mobile vans, product certifications to promote. And let me give some glimpse of that, what we did. We have did this outreach programs, and you could see the attendee profile from the different regions here. And this was done through JSW Steel Connect program. Most part of the India was covered. And then we conducted webinars with customers to explain the benefits. That was conducted extensively with the masons, to the customers, to the suppliers, the entire value chain. We conducted some market conferences also, going ahead with branding and engaging with the market. Besides that, we had a campaign that is on the ban. We called JSW Chalo Gaon Ki Aur campaign, and that made a lot of awareness building. And finally, last but this is not the least, at JSW we have been progressively applying eco-labeling into our product labeling and product branding. This new product development was successfully certified with CII's Green Pro Eco-Label certification. The life cycle assessment is an important criteria which has been considered to certify new product development with Green Pro, thereby testifying the significant contribution that can be made towards the green building movement in India, not only in terms of enabling consumption of lesser steel, but also enabling the use of a greener product in the construction sector. So Green Pro is helping the promotion of new product development, and thus it is helping in creating an awareness among the consumer to make a shift towards a greener product. So this is an example, but this has a lot of challenges in marketing as any sustainable products. The barriers what we have faced can be achieved through, things are changing very fast. An example is the Steel Zero initiative launched by Climate Group in the partnership with Responsible Steel. Organizations that join Steel Zero make a public commitment to procure 100% net zero steel by 2050. So by harnessing their collective purchasing power and influence, we are sending a strong demand signal to shift global markets and policies towards responsible production and sourcing of steel. European Union is all set to introduce carbon border adjustment mechanism, which Mr. Thomas Burgess before that was mentioning about the carbon tax, which is coming into play in India. And that is to levy a tax on imports, and that will definitely drive reduction in carbon intensive products and selling those in areas. So just before I conclude, I just use an example. What I'm telling that the consumer awareness is increasing. It is very much important for the organizations to start building sustainability within their strategy, and the product will be automatically an outcome of your intent and doing good. In this sense, it is not only doing good for the society, it helps in your profitability. There is one, always I face a questions that do consumer prefer or provide or prefer to pay premium for sustainable products or green products. This is something which is evolving. More and more consumer awareness are getting increased. Only thing is that whether you get a premium or not, definitely the credibility in the market and the branding of your product will increase, and that possibly will give you the volume, and ultimately finally your top line and bottom line will get impacted. So that is for sure, it is happening. So with that, let me remain here, and thank you very much for hearing me out, and I'll be happy to take any questions or clarifications further.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. It has been quite insightful. We're still waiting for a few questions to come in, sir. Sir, you mentioned that sustainability is something that people resonate with, and if you build it in your culture, you will have better sales. Is that a 1 + 1 equation, or is there more to it?
No, as I told, it is not exactly a 1 + 1 scenario. I will tell that if you integrate sustainability into your business practices, you will get more. It is not only you will get less. What are the benefits you get? First of all, by integrating sustainability, a business can improve their processes. They can do better with the same resources, and that is fundamentally give you a benefit. Second thing, you get a good branding from the outside, that this organization looks 360 degrees. You look holistically. And as you know, the resources are finite, and we have to deal with the same resources. And that is where circularity also comes in. Third thing is that you get a good branding and customer response to your product, towards your product. So my view will be that by focusing on sustainability, you as an organization, we as a business get much more, not only in the direct financial term, but also in the indirect financial terms. So we gain in whole.
Right. Mr. Acharya, would you then say that sustainability and your branding, that you're a sustainable brand, is more important or more lucrative or more straightforward for companies that are in the B2C business?
See, in the B2C business, I think sustainable products acceptance are getting increased. And I think that is where you can see many of the examples, and Mr. Varghese mentioned about the textile business. But look at in the garment and apparel, which is directly going to consumers. More of the millennials and the young generations are preferring sustainable garments rather than using the unsustainable products. So it's the uptake is increasing, the trend is positive, and it will grow exponentially.
Right. Prabodh sir, we've got one question which is coming from Charvi Mishra. The question is your sustainable product of the same market price as your previous product? Has this increased your overall sales? Have the margins improved?
The example what I gave, which is a very common product, everybody we use, you and me and everybody who builds a house, they use a TMT bar. And this is a very, and that is why I use that example. Obviously, we are not getting a premium because it is a sustainable product. We are selling at the market price because it's a competitive market. India is a competitive market. I don't think we normally get a price advantage because you have a sustainable product. But what you get advantage is that obviously your volume of sale increases. And the customers benefit, as I stated, you consume less quantity of steel to have the same reinforcement requirement. So the consumer get a direct benefit by using less material, and therefore they also save money.
But are you passing on the benefit to them? Is it translating onto your bottom line itself?
No, my bottom line is increasing because of the process efficiency improvements. Okay, we are selling the product at competitive price, so we are not charging premiums. But this benefit is obviously to the customers who is using that. They are consuming less material and getting a better environmental benefit. The global warming potential of this product is much lesser. The environmental product footprint is much lesser. But as far as benefit, the question is that then why do we do that? Because we do that, obviously it is giving me volume. It is giving me advantage as a total market share.
Right.
And hopefully, because right now what we see, if I take the example of steel, there is increasing demand from fossil-free steel, specifically from the auto sectors.
Yes.
So hopefully consumers will one day be prepared to pay a premium for the sustainable products.
Right. So we have another question from Dr.
Nisha,
Radha.
let me just step
Yeah.
in here.
Yes, sir.
You know, this question which is always asked is that will sustainable product really fetch a premium and consumers willing to pay a price for it? So just for the people who may not have encountered, there are some very detailed studies done by both McKinsey and BCG, which covers thousands and thousands of respondents. And the conclusion that's been reached is that based on the study they've conducted, consumers are all willing to pay up to an 8 to 10% premium for sustainable products. So this is the good news that, you know, till now we were not sure whether consumers are willing to put their money where their mouth is. So the answer is yes, they are willing to pay. And the second question which is asked is that, is it only relevant for B2C products and not to B2B? I think it's absolutely absurd. I think you'll see millions of examples of B2B where sustainable products will fetch a premium and will sell more once consumers are aware of the benefits of those products. And I personally believe that, you know, it is going to be relevant in every walk of our life. In every product we consume, there will be a premium. If not a premium like Prabodha had said, there will be a preference. And that preference will translate to larger volumes and greater revenues. So I just thought, you know, this is a question on everyone's mind. So it is something which needs to be addressed, and people would like to know exactly what is the consumer willing to do when it comes to sustainable products. Thank you.
Right. I absolutely in agreement with Mr. Varghese. I mean, when it comes to B2B, I think the uptake is more than B2C.
Because they understand, you know, it's a circular economy and the benefits flow into the bottom line, like you mentioned, you know. We've got one question from Dr. Radha Krishna. He's saying, what is your take on how sustainability concept can be internalized by all manufacturing segments?
Yeah, I mean, let me give some practical example, because this is something is a struggle always. How do you internalize? And that is where there is no single answer or there is no single approach. It varies from sector to sector. It varies from organization to organization. But what I find useful in internalizing sustainability in various walks of the business is by when you talk to different functions, talk the benefits, what it brings in. See, for example, if I talk to my operation people, let me give an example in the steel sector. I don't talk to them on how they can make an impact in reducing the carbon emissions or reducing the water consumption. What I talk to them is that how they can improve their productivity, how they can improve their productions, how they can achieve their KRAs, and that will help. But same thing when I talk to a finance manager, I think if you say save 1 kg of one of your raw material, what is the financial benefit at the end of the year you are going to gain? So therefore, the internalizing sustainability will be talking to different functions in their language and explaining what benefit they can bring in on the day-to-day work, what they are doing. With a bigger, when you have a bigger strategy, for example, as an organization, you might have a bigger strategy to reduce your carbon footprint, but that can be achieved only when each and every function of your organization work together. And therefore, each and every function also has to see what is the benefit it brings in that function and what initiative or work they have to do to contribute. But if you just talk that, no, we want to reduce carbon footprint, why a HR person will be interested to reduce your carbon footprint? Right? So therefore, you have to explain what process difference he has to make that will make his life easier day in and day out. And that is where I believe is internalizing sustainability in the organization's day-to-day activities.
All right. So we'll take one last question because our next speaker has already arrived. And this is coming in from Charvi Mishra. The question is, consumers are not aware of the difference between green products and sustainable products. So how can a brand stand out for their sustainable product?
And that is where I showed you the second slide, where I have given so many sustainability brand, green brand flooding the market. So therefore, it is having a greenwashing. And I sincerely believe that in each market or each countries, there has to be regulated standards that will differentiate the products which is better and greener. And I think we are already going into that process to identify which product has a better environmental benefit, or what is defined as sustainable products. So that definition has to be, we have some sectoral examples. And I'm sure as the day progresses, we'll get clear definitions and defined and regulations in place, and that will clarify a lot of doubts in consumers' mind, because right now, possibly we should not land into a greenwashing.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and sharing with us your ideas about marketing of sustainable products and the benefits of sustainable products through the value chain for users, for customers, for processes within the companies. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much to have me, and I wish all the best for the rest of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much.